So we seen this the other day, and I didn't believe it at first, that the Irish state, the Irish taxpayer would have to fund a podcast to encourage recruitment to the Irish Prison Service. And this is what these two people are doing on the podcast. €24,000, well, 20,000 plus VAT, of course. €24,000 for one podcast and stuff. It's quite insane when you really think about it. And especially because it was a sponsor, that's the word they use, sponsored by the Irish state. For these people to talk about, they encourage people to join the Irish Prison Service. To be totally honest with you, if we went and looked and seen how many people joined after the podcast, you might be lucky maybe 1, 2, maybe 4, maybe at most. We're not talking about a big increase. The prison service is still in a mess. And let's put it this way, the money should be better used elsewhere than, trying to go and get people to join from podcasts and stuff like that. Like, everybody knows the Irish prison system, the Irish justice system is fucked. Excuse my language, but that's what it is, and nobody wants to become a prison warden because it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous to walk the streets. Imagine being in Mountjoy and stuff like that. It's just far too dangerous nowadays to be anybody in this country, unless you're a criminal, of course, you get off with it. But this 24,000 should probably go towards, maybe stopping the overcrowding and stuff like that. Because if the Irish Prison Service was, thinking about maybe doing something, they should probably worry about the prison overcrowding and the prisons are full and people are getting out. Like, people committing heinous crimes are getting out early release. It's absolutely a joke. And we call ourselves a serious country. Years ago, the crimes that people are getting off with nowadays, you wouldn't have Telly getting off them years ago. And that's so right so. Because if you commit a crime, serious crime, I'm talking about attacking somebody, robbing somebody, burglary, etc., etc. I'm not saying about TV licenses, but they throw people into prison for TV licenses. The most minor thing. And then if you didn't pay, if you didn't pay this and you didn't pay that, we send you to the prison. But if you killed somebody in the street, we let you off. It doesn't make much sense. But you think they would probably be worried about using that maybe money to try and do something about that. To try and stop the overcrowding, or maybe even maybe stop spending money, because again, what the prisons have become in this country, it's a revolving door. People go out and then come back in, and then go out and come back in, and there's just an endless cycle of just bureaucracy shit, let's put it away. But yeah, so everybody has nice Sky Sports and everything in the prison, and Netflix and X, Y, and Z. It's madness. It's absolutely madness, and this still happening to this day. This is from COVID times, but I've no doubt about it that they have big flat screen TVs in the prison cells. And I don't have Sky Sports or Netflix. I will have to work a job and stuff like that. I don't get it handed to me for nothing. So, but what I'm trying to say, the whole concept of prisons in this country is out the fucking window, because the whole idea of prisons that you've set there for punishment, for committing a crime, for committing serious crimes, etc., and you're supposed to reflect on your actions, and reflect what your actions entailed and your consequences of your actions. But it seems like the prisons in this country seems like a jolly. It seems like a nice holiday, and that's what for a lot of people it's a nice holiday, free food. It's something like €52,000, something like that, a year, to keep a prisoner in prison in this country. Something like that. It might be a bit less, but it's something like 48, 52, something like that. I might be wrong to look after the medical, food, etc., the clothing, all that kind of stuff. It's insane when you really think about it. But a lot of people that's in prison too shouldn't probably be in prison, because we should put them into programs that help them, get back into society, get out of, take for example, shoplifting. Shoplifting, it's kind of, some people do it just because, why not? They get off with it. But some people are addicted. Some people, when they start, they can never stop, and it's an addiction, to be totally honest. And I do feel for them people, even though they're breaking the law and stuff. But we should try and help them get out of that addiction, find some way of breaking that addiction. And it's a hard thing to do, but that's what we should be doing in terms of shoplifting and stuff. We should be trying to get them to do something productive and stuff, and get them out of that habit, because it's a habit and it's an addiction, as I say. It's the same as drugs, it's the same as alcohol. But yeah, no, the Irish prison system, I don't know what to tell you. And then if you don't call it a man or woman, you put the prison. For example, I know it's contempt of court Eli Burke is in, but the whole idea, reason why Eli Burke's in prison in the first place, he wouldn't call a boy a goer. And that's what the prison systems in England is dealing with. They're too busy worrying about people to misgender people, etc. But instead of people running around with knives and stuff like that, you think they would worry about that first and then worry about the other thing later on, maybe. Instead of, it's just backwards. The whole rest of the world's backwards. But yeah, it's just a mess, the Irish prison system. But I would like to see statistics from the Department of Justice. on this podcast. Like, how many people said after the podcast was done a week or two later, they went into the Irish prison system and said, I want to become a prison officer or a prison warden, whatever you may say. Because it would be only about 5 people, maybe. You'd be lucky to get 5. I've heard of this podcast before. I'm not going to lie to you, I did hear of it before. But what I'm trying to say, not many people do it because the money's shit and the conditions are rotten. So why would you do it? Why would you go and do it? And especially work for the Irish state. As you know, the Irish state is not your friend in any shape or form. They're not your friend, because we see the luxuries handed out to people who cause trouble. Take for example the criminals and stuff that killed people, and they get nice Netflix and Sky Sports, probably big, big dinners, probably 5-course dinners. That's the whole prison system. Then the person on the street is left to what? It doesn't make much sense, to be totally honest, because if I was Minister for Justice, there'd definitely be no expenditure like this. This was a few years ago, but I have no doubt about it that they're still spending this amount of money. There's no doubt in my mind. But there's no way I would allow that to happen, that this because it's punishment. I would nearly not even let them have a TV in those cells, because it's punishment. That's what it is. It's punishment. You're there to be taught a lesson. And that's as simple as that. That's what we make it torture for, especially the people who are having life sentences. Take for example for murder or for serious attacks or rape. Take for example or kidnapping. I would be very cruel on them. It wouldn't give them a TV. It wouldn't give them really much, to be told, because that's what they deserve. They deserve to be in the cell to rot in a cell, and maybe get out once in a while for one around the yard. But that's it. That's what it should be, because that's what teaches people manners. And I know it sounds cruel, but that's what manners is. Years ago, people were taught very hard lessons and stuff in prison. Nowadays, it's just kind of a holiday. But let me know what you think. Subscribe for more, and bye.